I swim because it wakes my body and my mind. As you age, things become more difficult unless you exercise. I was a volunteer for many, many years at the Met Museum in Asian art for the Japanese curator. And also information services. Because I've always enjoyed my connection with the museum, it was kind of natural to think about donating my cameras. Life keeps happening. But I finally said I must do this. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, May 15, 1935. I used to listen to jazz music with an old radio that my parents had. Jazz programs came on very late at night. I could sit up till 2 or 3 in the morning. Once in a great while, if it was wind and all the weather conditions were right, I could hear Symphony Sid from New York City. And I said, oh, that's where I want to be. So I came to New York and went to secretarial school, Catherine Gibbs Secretarial School, and lived in Sunnyside, Queens. I could go to school all day, and then it was time to go to the 2 big jazz clubs, Birdland and Basin Street. Birdland had a bandstand that would tightly fit Dizzy Gillespie's orchestra, which is my favorite. Basin Street was kind of newer, so you could have Oscar Peterson Trio, Sonny Rollins. And then I would take the train 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning to go back to Sunnyside. It was very safe in those days. My sister made this scrapbook for me with this Japanese paper, which is very nice. And for some reason, what is this? Oh, here's a Rolling Stone. I had also become friends with a columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle named Ralph J. Gleason. And I used to write him letters telling him about all the music that I went to. He said, I've been asked to contribute and be a partial owner of a San Francisco paper called Rolling Stone. And he said, I'm going to publish your letter as a concert review. This is my first Rolling Stone article. Ravi Shankar was at CCNY. And I got an interview at this master class that he gave. And so I wrote this all up, and I did not the photo, but the other parts. So these are Monterey. Bob Dylan comes out at the Woody Guthrie. I went to a Woody Guthrie memorial concert in Carnegie Hall, and Bob Dylan appeared. To see him on stage, it was absolutely astonishing. I've never seen anybody so captivating, at least in that particular genre of a singer. The music reviewer for the New York Times, he contacted me and he said, there's a fellow who wants to do a book on rock. Would you be interested in doing your interviews? And I said, well, I would only be interested if he also did African American artists. He said, sure. I didn't do my own photographs until I started to write for Black Stars. This was the first published photograph in Black Stars magazine. The Spinners were the group, and I thought it captured the spirit of what their performance was. It wasn't just standing still, it was moving. And I think here you really see the dance behind as well as the striding of the lead singer in front of them on the stage. I had borrowed a friend's Nikon camera, not a motor drive, but a camera, and I was able to capture a key moment that I thought really encompassed their whole performance. And obviously the editor of the magazine liked it, and they gave me a double spread, what's called a double spread. This is one of my first pictures with the OJs. I was so thrilled to be published. I was, I guess, trying to capture an image or images that really were what I would see if I were there enjoying. You're really there for ears, and yet you're capturing a visual. And so for me, the camera was my art. And then I began to do basketball. And here's Julius Erving, Dr. J, the famous Dr. J, who I really loved. Earl Monroe, who was a star. I really liked his moves. I applied to Madison Square Garden to get a press pass so I could photograph the game. It was a way to go to the game without paying a ticket, for one thing. And this is when I discovered that you really need a motor drive. So my picture of Earl is when he's taking a breather in a game. I went to Olden Camera and got my first Nikon. This is what the motor drives did. As long as you have your thumb on the shutter, it continues taking pictures. It doesn't stop until you take it off. Now here's Earl Monroe faking his defender into the air so he can come down and Earl can have a shot. So here's the knicker mat. This is a great camera. Leicas I could take into jazz clubs and take pictures of people on stage. Just imagine you're in a club. You're not really going to hear a sound like that, but the SLR you are. Because it's not only that quick, it's this quick. But if the music is good, it shouldn't bother anybody. Nice. Okay, now. Now the problem here is to get the motor drive out. I'm not going to mess with it because my fingers are not strong. Well, goodbye. Moving on. I've discovered that Nora Kennedy handled the photo conservation department. I had lots of rolls of transparency film and my cameras. So I thought maybe for some reason she would need these. They were such a strong part of my life for such a long time. And my cameras are now happy in a place where they can be used and appreciated at the Met Museum.